Hello everyone, this is CounterYolo Gaming, bringing you another video talking about survivability in Star Trek Online. And today, just this morning, there was a release talking about the Tier 6 reputation for Age of Discovery. And so I'm going to go ahead and dive into that and some of the potential implications dealing with that new the Tier 6 reputation change inside the game, which it's basically all insanely good stuff that I'm super excited about as a tank. To be able to have a potential 7th energy type to be able to use for tanking is going to be so nice. Alright, so for what's going to be covered in this video, it's going to be the official announcement, combined with big applications to starships, generally for energy weapons, and then the changes that will be added for the better for plasma and proton weaponry. And I'll cover the TLDW at the end of the video as to this stuff. Like normal, time links will be in the description to cover this stuff. This video should be fairly quick, but who knows, I might rant too long, and so it might be a little bit longer. Alright, so first off, for the official announcement itself, as all of you should know if you've watched my videos, the Task Force Operations is what's going to be called now for our actual queues. They won't be called queues anymore. I keep on saying that, but they want to change it to ops, so just keep that in mind. And also they're going to change the descriptions for a lot of the traits to make them easier to understand and compare between. At Tier 5 reputation, reputation sponsorship will be automatic for your entire account. You will need to farm the 100 mark reputation sponsorship and then send them to each one of your characters. At Tier 5, which is automatic for all the other characters on your account. At Tier 6, they mentioned that the reputation traits for that particular reputation is going to be stronger. Your sub-weapons will have better DPS overall, and that your sub-weapons will have the availability to be changed to any energy type in the entire game. Those two things combined is going to make reputation weapons potentially the strongest weapons in the game now. But I will get into that into the other slides in this video. Additionally to that, there'll be automatic account wide gear discount stuff for everything besides the elite marks themselves. And so, because it'll be easier to fill the marks in your gear stuff for your different reputations, but the elite marks themselves will be the same. It's actually going to help promote operations inside the game and help fill those queues faster instead of just having everyone running the red alert missions. It'll help operations quite a bit inside of the game. They also mentioned that at Tier 6, for each character on your account, you'll get a free fleet ship module and a free skills retrain token. And they also mentioned that for Tier 6, there's also new vanity shields, a couple other cosmetic stuff, which for me, I don't care about as much, but it's something to note as well. So first off, for fleet starships. For those of you that don't know and haven't messed with fleet starships too much, to get the Tier 6 fleet starship, you need 20,000 fleet credits, 5 fleet modules, or 1 with the C-Store ship if you have that, along with having the correct level in your military thing on your fleet starbase. So, like for instance, on the right, my fleet soup on Silic, flight deck Assault Cruiser. I need the military rank to be 4 in order to be able to get the fleet version of that ship. I can't remember what the fleet Excelsior is, but it's one of those levels. Because you have 12 reputations per character, that means that each character is able to earn 12 fleet modules for free just by leveling up the reputations. It's not clear if they're bound to character, bound to account, or if they're not bound at all. My personal preference would be that they aren't bound at all, just so that if you have like lots of characters and you get lots of fleet modules, then boom, you're able to sell a lot of fleet modules on the exchange, get a lot of credits, and now you can actually afford one of the lockbox ships, assuming that you've upgraded your energy cap increase from like the 15 million to 2 billion. And boom, it doesn't take a super much amount in order to be able to get one of those lockbox ships. But basically, the TLDW for this slide is free-to-play players can now earn a Tier 6 fleet starship regardless. And they can earn, and then each character can earn at least 2. Now these 12 reputations here does not include the Age of Discovery reputation. I have mentioned in the previous video that at least their plan is not to release that reputation immediately. For this first phase, it will just be upgrades to Tier 6, and then later they will add the Age of Discovery reputation alongside this. Probably based upon what gaps there are, will be what stuff they'll include in that reputation going forward. So next thing is what the reputation weaponry implications at Tier 6 is going to mean for tanking. So the big thing here is reputation weapons can be made for any energy type. It's not clear on the post as to if if those reputation weapon drops from the reputation boxes can be recrafted into a different energy type, or if it's just simply those actual projects inside of the reputations. But definitely the project guaranteed can be changed into whatever energy type, which means that basically going forward, all of your DPS builds are going to have a Terran Task Force beam array or Terran Task Force cannon now, because the Terran Task Force beam array or cannon does the most damage in the game because of the passive that it potentially goes up to double the damage at 25% hull. So for tank builds, I would recommend getting the Terran Task Force beam array and the Advanced Piezo Pole Arm beam array, and making those at that Tier 6 whatever energy type that you're going to use for tanking, assuming that you use a beam tank. Science tanks are basically unaffected from these Tier 6 changes, besides just the reputation stuff that's changing. Specifically for plasma weapons, I have mentioned in a previous video with the arcs for tanking that plasma didn't have a set omni-directional beam array for the 5.3 beam tank build. Now you actually do, because now you'll actually be able to change the advanced inhibiting omni-directional beam array from the gamma reputation, which is a Tier 5 project. Whenever you get to Tier 6, you can actually change that weapon into an omni-directional plasma. And since that's a set omnidirectional, it's separate from the craftable one, and so you can actually have two plasma omnidirectional beam arrays on your ship now. So that is super exciting. I actually did have a plasma build coming in about 2 weeks. I actually have already recorded that video, but I'm just gonna just kind of like ditch the video now, and I'll redo it after Age of Discovery and after I get Gamma to Tier 6 with that character. And then I'll give you a proper plasma beam build with a lot of the changes I've already mentioned inside of this video. The other big change, and I really hope that they do this, because they better do this, because otherwise I'm going to be spamming them like every day for a long time, because it'd be an extremely easy change to do, is to allow those weapons, because I mentioned in the post that every single one of the weapons can be changed to any energy type in the game, which Proton is the 7th energy type, which is almost unseen inside of the game. And also with the subspace space field modulator, with really nothing inside the game really punishing it, I really hope that they make this change so that a traditional tank build will actually be viable for this. Because right now there isn't a craftable Polaron or a craftable Proton Omni. I hope they add that with this so that you actually could do a 5.3 beam tank. But if they just do this change, I would be happy, because there are enough beam arrays within all the different reputations that I could easily make a traditional 4 beams in the front, 4 beams in the back traditional beam tank, and I would actually put this on my Age of Discovery character. Obviously, as I said in one of the previous slides, the 2 beams that you would use is the Terran Task Force and the Advanced Piezo Polaron. Except to be Advanced Piezo whatever. It'd actually be Advanced Piezo Proton beam array. But you change those to Proton, then you use 6 other reputations that have a beam array in their sets, and then boom, you have an actual a Proton beam array tank build. And that would be super fun to play with. If they don't do this, I will be really mad, as I mentioned. But anyway, TLDW for this video. Tier 6 reputation, there'll be some cool fun cosmetic stuff they'll be adding. Tier 5 rep, we'll get the automatic reputation account sponsorship, which is pretty cool. At Tier 6 rep, you'll get a lot of account-wide discounts. Alongside that, for other implications that I think is very important, you'll get a free fleet ship module and a free captain skill respec for each reputation that you get per character. Each character is able to get 12 at the moment. Age Discovery, whenever they eventually release their reputation, it shouldn't be in this first round, but they will eventually release that reputation. You eventually be able to earn 13, and then more when they add additional expansions alongside that. Basically, this means that free-to-play players can earn a Tier 6 Fleet Starship, which is pretty cool. Plasma 5.3 builds are actually viable now because you're able to change the omni-directional Proton weapon from the Gamma reputation into an omni-directional Plasma beam array to have the set beam array alongside the craftable one, which is super cool. And assuming that they allow proton weapons, the proton energy type to be able to be an option for all the beam arrays inside of the reputations. Proton tanks should now be a viable build path for tanking as well as for DPS as well, because for DPS you could always just do a bunch of proton cannons, and now you have a very ugly PvP build, because now you basically are telling that your enemies, by the way, don't use the subspace field modulator, because if you do, you're going to die. And yeah, I'm assuming that they also do that. It will take a few months, depending on how long it takes to grind Tier 6 reputation, simply because I don't have a spare character that's really good right now to be able to make it into a proton energy build, and so I will have to use the new Age of Discovery character to make a proton energy tanking build. So that will take a while to make, to be able to show you all on the channel. But assuming that they make that change and it's feasible, you will see a proton energy tank build eventually on the channel. But yep, that's about it for TLDW. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like this type of content. I occasionally talk about Star Trek Online and Star Trek in general, alongside doing occasional tank builds and tank strategies to be able to survive and tank better inside the game. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.